A very warm welcome back to Gillian at Mystic Healing Therapies. It's a beautiful winter's day here in England, really cold and crisp and bright, not a sign of a chemtrail, that's what we like. So in today's video I'm going to talk about the fall of Atlantis, our 12 strands of DNA and the Ascension process. Okay, so I'm going to start with the fall of Atlantis. So as many of you know, the Earth has moved through multiple cycles of civilizations. Many are not even recorded and many aren't even talked about, even by our community. But the last one I think most people are familiar with as the Atlantis civilization, where we had advanced technology, etc., etc. But the technology and the situation fell into the wrong hands, and basically we ended up reducing from our 5-dimensional state down to 3-dimensional state, and this is where we've been for a few thousand years, in the 3D matrix, so to speak. So at the fall of Atlantis we lost all our visions, we lost all our DNA was deactivated from the 12 strands down into the 3 strands. We lost our multi-dimensional sense, our sense of being at one with a greater community, not just the Earth community. And we lost a lot of our magical powers. There's many reasons for that, which I'm not going to get into. But basically, we ended up being a dumbed down version of ourselves as human beings. Now, with what's going on at the moment, it's evident that this paradigm of existence, this 3D existence, it's coming to an end. We can see it all around us. And a lot of people are feeling really worried, concerned. They're feeling like it's the end of the world. Well, it is the end of the world, but not in the way you know it. So a lot of these people that are worried and feeling a great sense of dread, they have soul memories. Perhaps they were incarnated, or in fact there's a high chance that the souls awakened to this were incarnated at the times of Atlantis, and their soul memories are making them think that, you know, we're in for a cataclysm, we're in for the end of times again, in a doom and gloom way. But what I'd like to remind everybody is, when Atlantis was falling, we were falling down from a 5D, which we were operating in 5D. We were coming from 5D down to 3D. What I'd like to remind everybody of is this time we're going from 3D to 5D. So we're stepping back into our magnificence as human beings. So what does this mean then? So what are you on about, Gillian, when you're talking about 5D, 3D, DNA, etc.? Well, what we're going to be doing in the last thousands of years, we've only been using perhaps 3 strands of DNA, whereas we're going to step into using 12 strands of DNA. There's more than that to be had, but we've got to do it in increments. So if we activated our 12 strands of DNA, for example, our psychic powers, our knowingness, our ability to do magical and mystical things would just be automatic. So what happened is our DNA was scrambled. It never got taken away from us, these powers, but they were so scrambled and disorganized that it was impossible to find them. So to use the analogy of, imagine a huge library, so a massive library with thousands and thousands of books in it. It was almost as though all the books were just piled in a heap, and it was potluck if you find something that you were looking for. But what's going to happen, so we never lost our DNA, but we just had it scrambled. You know, scientists are very fond of saying, oh, it's your junk DNA. And if they showed you a picture of a brain, they'd say half the brain is not used. Well, that's a fib. We're going to see that the brain is going to be used when we've got our 12 strands of DNA activated. So the 5-dimension state leads us to having naturally our 12 strands of DNA activated. So how can we assist in helping ourselves really in this remembering of who we are on such a vast and grand scale? Who are we as human beings, you know? So I do a little mantra because I want my 12 strands of DNA intact, ready for this new world, ready for the 5D. So my mantra is that I command that I receive all the relevant light keys and codes to activate my 12 strands of DNA. And I say that 3 times because I want my 12 strands of DNA activated. I want to be able to step into the 5-dimensional space as an intact human being, as we were always intended to be by the Creator. But this has been taken away from us by the dark forces after the fall of Atlantis. I mean, there's lots of reasons behind this, but I'm just giving a simplified version. So the 12 strands of DNA also correspond to the 12 chakras that we have available in our body. So, you know, I know for a lot of times people were referring to the 7 chakras, which are inside the body, but we've also got 5 outside of the body. So I know I've shared this on other videos before, but as a daily practice, I quite often open up my chakras and bring in the light. So for example, I start with the soul star chakra at the base of my feet, just below my feet, and I contemplate opening this. Then I move up into my body, my base, my sacral, my navel, my solar plexus, my radiant golden heart, my throat chakra, my third eye, my crown, my causal, my soul star, and the stellar gateway. So they're your 12 chakras. I open those up to the light of the 7 suns, and I bring down the light and channel it down into the earth, into the ley lines, into the inner earth, into all the places in the world where we need this anchoring in. So that's just a daily practice I do, but also that's helping my 12 strands of DNA because the chakras correspond to the DNA. So it's kind of all helping, and my focus of attention is on actively activating that, because I want to be a fully functional being when the time comes that we leave the old paradigm into the new. So if you're feeling this doom and gloom, don't. There's no need for it. Just realise we are at the end of this 3rd dimensional paradigm and we're moving into the 5th. Remember, we're going up this time, folks. We're not going down. We're going to have what's rightfully ours restored to us, which will mean being in touch with multidimensional selves, our multidimensional selves, different dimensions like the elementals, the galactics. You know, that's all going to be a normal, everyday part of life as a human being in full consciousness. So I'll leave that with you. I hope you're enjoying this beautiful sunshine. I certainly am, even though it's quite cold. And please do remember to feed the birds. You know, this is Bird City here in this garden, but I keep putting out water for them, fresh water. Please remember, put out fresh water for them because they really need it. I can't tell you how many species of birds we have in our bird bath because I keep putting fresh water in it. So please look after our little dear angels that fly around everywhere, and feed them and love them, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.